Rallycard Delta Gaming did a short missive on the process that explains why Microsoft has nearly zero interest in selling additional Xbox Series units. Now, he's going to break down some supply chain economics, but before I even jump in there, this True Achievements article says Xbox One is getting loads of big games in November 2025. I've told y'all before that Microsoft isn't supporting 20 or 30,000 consoles. Sorry, I said 20, 30 million consoles alone. They're supporting another extra 40 to 50 million users that are still on the Xbox One, that are still playing Roblox and Minecraft and Fortnite and these games that are on those platforms. I've said this to you. Many people keep saying they've only sold 28 million or 30 million units. It's funny because these same people say that there is no Xbox stock anywhere that's getting replenished. In fact, at first they lied that Xbox was pulling the stock. We caught them lying, and they're like, well, you can't find it anywhere to buy, which would probably mean that people are already buying it, adding to this 28 million number. There's also the Xbox One, Xbone, which is at some point had sold about 50 million units. And so take whatever that you will and say they moved to the series generation, and then there's still probably 40 or 30 or, God forbid, maybe it's a whole new 28 million. Xbox is supporting a number of consoles. So this article should probably go ahead and tell you that something here is amiss when the punditry has already missed out the Xbox One user and never factored them in, yet here we are. This article starts, there are so many notable Xbox One games launching in November 2025, with Call of Duty Black Ops 7 leading the charge for last-gen options on Game Pass. Now, let's listen to what the gentleman has to say about this.
All right, gamers, game journalists, Xbox content creators, PlayStation content creators, and everybody else in between. Folks, we got to talk. As you may have seen in the last Microsoft investor report, Xbox Series console hardware has dropped in sales year over year again, which I think by this point we should pretty much all be expecting, especially considering conditions of prices, the market, the success of PlayStation, etc. So I put together this very, very short slideshow today entitled, Why Did Xbox Raise the Price of Xbox Series Units, especially considering they lost the console war? And just in case you're curious, I've spent a significant portion of my career in supply chain, which is exactly related to the concepts that we're going to discuss today. What you see on your screen now is a crudely drawn process flow that it took me about 5 minutes to put together. Anyway, it should get the point across, so bear with me. Price of a product goes up, especially if the price of that product goes up significantly, it will impact demand. Demand in the market for that product will fall. When demand for a product falls, a company will see, generally speaking, they'll see a bunch of different things happen. They will see their manufacturing costs go down because, well, people are ordering fewer or there's less demand in the market. You will see any shipping or transit costs.
And by the way, the customer acquisition phase, this is something that SpawnWave somehow blurted out in his interview with Matt Piscatella, because even he realizes that the customer acquisition phase for these companies is past. When Xbox was selling these consoles very cheap, people were laughing and mocking, and now the people who never wanted an Xbox console are the loudest about Xbox console prices going up. That's how you know that they all have a weird ulterior motive that's lying behind them. But keep listening. Sorry for interrupting you guys.
Reduced. Any kind of tariff or import costs, especially right now, will come down. And any kind of inventory holding costs that you had, assuming you don't have warehouses full of the stuff already, any kind of inventory costs that you could have occurred will no longer occur or will drop. Overall, this results in fewer units essentially being pushed into the market overall. And if you're pushing fewer units into the market, any long-term future support costs of that product will be lower than they would have otherwise. At this stage in the game, the most important thing to note is that this is all purposeful. Microsoft and Xbox are 100% well aware of what happens when they significantly raise the price of their console. So the only logical conclusion is that removing all of these costs is the end goal at this point in time. And why would that be the end goal right now? Well, because essentially Microsoft is done with the Xbox Series console hardware. There's no point in them proliferating it into the market further, expanding inventory, expanding support when they have significant plans for new hardware?
Obviously, I've been saying this because it makes sense. They're gonna go ahead and just roll over all those guys that are from the current Xbox Series X generation, which is this so-called 28 million that you all keep talking about, right? And these Series S and X generation, they're gonna roll them into the Ally and Magnus generation of users. On top of that, the cost that Game Over 30 is actually alluding to in this particular video of his is also the cost of subsidy. When they've basically gone ahead to eat losses as high as $100 to $200 in this particular paradigm, I don't think they're interested in losing any more of that money, especially at this particular phase of the console's lifespan. I mean, think about it. Xbox loses between 100 and 200 on every Xbox sold. Easier for you to let ASUS set the price so that you basically do a mea culpa. Many people were laughing and saying, oh, Sarah Bond said it's an ASUS hardware. That's all you guys are all, you see, why are these so-called pundits like, cats with a laser beam? They just follow something that they can never catch, easily distracted, not realizing that she got away smooth from that price point by basically dropping the onus on ASUS and walking away. So now Xbox has established a $1,000 console paradigm. When they bring out the next console, if they price it at $850, they're going to look like the heroes because a lot of you weren't paying attention. But again, this is kind of exactly the point that we're talking about. Punditry, Xbox users and content creators and all that, many of them don't care about economics. I would yell and yell and yell about numbers. In fact, I once cracked open an economics textbook from Michael Porter, a former Harvard professor, about competitive markets, and these cats came out here to start to sink console war. It's why I blocked a lot of them. So this says if you've bluntly refused to upgrade your Xbox hardware thus far, then it looks like November 2025 might see your last gen gambit pay off. There are just so many Xbox One games launching this month and below. We're going to take a look at 14 of the most notable. That's right, 14 notable Xbox One releases this month. Truly wild stuff for a console that turns 12 years old in November. Kicking things off, pardon the pun, is Football Manager 2026 out November 4th, which also happens to be our upcoming Game Pass games list as it launches day one on Ultimate and Game Pass tiers. The series took a year off to refresh its engine and give the series an accessibility overhaul, supposedly making it blah, 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 blah. Then they have Dead Static Drive, that's coming. They have Winter Burrow, that's coming. Black Ops 7 is coming. They have Video Verse is coming. They have Neon Inferno is coming. They have where's the list? Goodness gracious. Do they have a list? Oh, yeah, we go. Terminator 2D No Fate, November 26th. They have Outlaws plus handful of missions, Neon Inferno. All look 14 of these games. Let me see, what are they talking about here? LucasArts, they have Demon School coming out. They have this Videoverse game. Where are all of them true achievements, man? I would have loved like a straight list that's coming. There it is. This is just some of the notable upcoming Xbox releases. I think they may have them on a whole different other list that you can pretty much go ahead and check out. And what's crazy is you can also access these, the bigger games. If you talk about, well, that's old gen, that's last gen, and blah, blah, blah. You can get yourself a Game Pass subscription, Ultimate, and you'll be able to stream a majority of these newer games that are already out. Your cell phones can stream them. I can't imagine people on the Xbox One consoles not diving into this. If you really think that Game Pass is consisting of only Xbox Series players and PC users, you don't really understand Xbox's ecosystem. And I'm glad that he explained why the consoles right now are basically getting bought out. Xbox isn't necessarily, in my opinion, caring about going to keep producing these devices, and putting them on the shelf and holding them when they can just make new devices that add and continue their ecosystem. They've already, by default, taking advantage of exactly what it is that they want to take advantage of. If you want an Xbox console, better buy an Xbox console. If you don't want an Xbox console, then don't buy an Xbox console. Them holding it on the shelves for you to go ahead and snub, those days are over. Buy PlayStation if that's what you want. Buy Nintendo if that's what you want, where there are basically almost not as many games as Xbox, where there are basically almost no options and no way for you to basically extend your library outside of the ecosystem. You do what it is that you want. Xbox is there to support you however it is that you want. Thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.